Illness just comes out of the blue and we're never prepared for the healing journey. We get used to living life in a certain way. And that's what we're going to talk about today. What my illness and my body taught me. When you get your health taken away and you're dealing with something as big as chronic illness, things that used to matter don't seem such a big deal anymore. So I used to worry so much about my clothes, the way I looked. And when I got to a point where I couldn't get out of bed in the morning, those things really faded into the background. I only had so much time, and with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, only so much energy. So it taught me that I had to cut out the noise and really put my energy into things that mattered. I had to really start to reprioritize my life. And I'm only human. I let the noise slip in from time to time, but I always have a view on what really matters. And that means that I can bring it back. And my health and my emotional states are really my guide now to how I live my life and the choices I make. And before I got ill, I used to ignore them. And that's probably why I got chronically ill in the first place. Illness is really a state of things being out of balance and alignment. And it's not just about nutrients, toxins, or inflammation. There's often a life catalyst that's been brewing for a while in the background. So our life maybe has a little bit too much stress in it, or too much pressure, or we're not responding to things particularly well. After really ignoring when things weren't right for me and putting too much pressure on myself to be perfect, I've really learned how to spot when things aren't right now. And recovery from illness really teaches us how to listen to our bodies and understand what they're trying to tell us. And of course, I'm human. Things get out of control sometimes. Recently, my father passed away, and it's been a massive shock and upheaval for me, and my body has felt it. But I've been listening to my body, so I've had to slow down a little bit. I've had to give myself a bit of space to grieve and to process what's happened, and also the permission to not be okay every day. So tell me in the comments, what have you learned from your recovery journey so far? I really love connecting with you guys in the comments. Before I got ill, I had dealt with a lot of trials and tribulations in my life. I've been divorced, I've lost loved ones, all of those sort of major events that can happen I've experienced, but nothing prepared me for the hardship that illness brings into your life. It's really heavy going, those endless trips to doctors with no diagnosis, new things you try that don't work, loss of friendships. Feels like an endless list of disappointments sometimes. There's ups and downs. And really how we deal with those is an absolute miracle, because illness can feel like it's coming at you from all angles at times. And I know there were many times I nearly gave up, but somehow we hang in there. And it's that hanging in there that really develops that grit and resilience. And resilience and that ability to bounce back no matter what life throws your way is really a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. And I know from my experience, I'm a lot stronger and a lot more resilient than I was before the illness. If you're finding it difficult to go the distance and every day is starting to feel like a struggle, I've put together a free training, which I've put the link in the description. It's 25 minutes. It's going to take you through the steps that you need to follow to get out of the struggle and into a place where healing starts to speed up for you. You're better able to cope with stress, and you also have some real optimism for the future. Recovery is one of those things that can take a long time to happen, and it really tests the impatient among us. I used to be the type of person who wanted everything yesterday. Everything I did was at 100 miles an hour. And I applied that impatience not only to others, but also to myself. And the patience that I had to develop through my healing journey has just made my life so much less stressful and easier to navigate. I tried to heal an array of symptoms, and it took me over 20 years to see the back of some of them. And I've worked with people who've had some terribly long and complicated illnesses, but they continue to show up for themselves every day. And we need persistence, because when we're told that there's no cure, or that they can't find a reason why you're sick in the first place, or you tried things that didn't work, The persistence really is what keeps us going. And I really believe that that persistence and not taking no for an answer is crucial, because chronic illness is so multifaceted, and what causes it in one person doesn't cause it in another. And ultimately, our medical systems aren't really set up or equipped to deal with many of the illnesses that we're showing up with. So I always used to be one of these people who never committed to anything. Relationships, towns, jobs. I used to chop and change everything a lot. And I wouldn't go all in on anything, but I would still expect results. When I got ill, I still applied those principles to healing. And that was a big mistake. And it was only after years of going nowhere and running out of options and energy that I realized I had to change. Illness really taught me that I had to double down on things that were working and commit to them and not give up halfway through. That has been something that I've been able to apply in my life, and it's amazing how much more settled and more grounded you feel when you're not always looking for the next thing. When you commit to something and you see it through, it just feels a lot easier. So persistence is not perfection. So watch this video next, and that's going to take you through why you don't need to be perfect or do things perfectly to heal. In fact, that's going to hold you back.